it all culminates in it to this. I'm Harry, with me is Tom, and of course this is the IEM Oakland qualifiers. The grand final coming up now to decide who gets that spot at IEM Oakland.
Chris J cooking show.
No, it's not that. It's that's later on tonight. That's something else. But
Wrong gig.
yeah, we've got Envy versus Mouse in the grand final, of course. Not necessarily the two teams would have expected to be here, but they're the two teams we've got for you. And
That's what yeah, they're not the ones we wanted, you know. They're the ones we've got. No, I'm kidding.
so when we look at the maps, Tom, we've got the maps, you know, all lined up in front of us, kind of similar to what you predicted in a sense.
Somewhat.
But do you want to take us through them just a little bit? Do you have them written down?
No.
Okay,
I'm pretty
that's
sure
okay. I got them written down.
we got Inferno. I remember the last one was Cobble. I don't remember what the middle one was.
Train.
Train. Ah, that was one I actually predicted when I said it. So,
So
not bad. But
yeah.
it's more the Cobble getting through to the end. I think Envy are going to be pretty happy with that one. I thought that they would be more likely to pick it. Of course, the avoidance of Nuke as well is going to be a much sort of better scenario. I'm interested to know. So we did actually see Nuke left in until right near the end. So it could have actually been picked by Envy, and that was a pretty risky game. Obviously, they could have actually risked it and left in Overpass on the Mousesports side, because I don't think Envy would have picked that outright. Even though it's a map they don't really play, neither do Envy, so it kind of could have worked in their favor. But they ended up with a pretty reasonable map for both teams anyway.
Yeah, so the first map going to be Inferno, the first time that we get to see Envy take up arms on this today.
Yeah.
Now, I'm excited to see this one personally, because I think, you know, Envy are for a start a good Inferno team.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to make for a very interesting best of three that I hope goes to all three maps. And I think if it does, Cobblestone is going to be very interesting, because I feel like naturally heading into this, you might give the edge the way of Mouse if you just looked at individual skill and results and how these teams have done. But when you take the maps into account, things get a little bit more interesting, right? Starting off with Inferno, a great map for Envy, you know, an okay map for Mouse, but not necessarily one of their strongest. Then you move into Train, which is kind of Mouse's best map, and then an okay map for Envy. But then we head into Cobblestone, which we already saw a dominant performance from EnVyUs earlier on today, and it's one that they've taken quite a liking to it in recent months, and they opt to play quite a fair bit. So that's where things get tricky. I think if it goes to all three, Envy have a very good shot at potentially running away with this.
Yeah, I think especially the Inferno pick from them, I think is a good idea. It could have been Nuke, which again, it was sort of like the same decision that LDLC had. They'd sort of have a similar map where I'd look and say, okay, for LDLC Inferno, if they were going to pick their strongest map, they would probably have picked Inferno over Nuke. But they then sort of went more on the existence side of things, where it's like, I don't think the Mousesports are going to be able to cope with what we're doing. And they must have been practicing it the way that they played it earlier. So for Envy now, they've just gone, okay, we're going to pick our stronger map. They're not going into this thinking that they are the weaker of the two teams.
No.
And rightly so. I think the way that they have been able to qualify online for a lot of these tournaments, they've been doing very, very well at it. So I don't think they would go into this series feeling any way weaker. And they've managed to get probably their best map as the third map in the series. The only real question mark above their name is going to be Train. So, if anything, it's more up to Mousesports to sort of step things up. And, wow, that's a pretty big advantage they've got straight away. Already 2 kills up.
Yeah, no, definitely. I'll make that 4 is Sticko. What a round. What a way to kickstart this. The grand final. Was that?
It's coming back to us.
There we go. That's just a snippet of what's to come. A trailer that we've prepared for you guys.
In a world.
To show you guys, of course, all the action that we can expect to see tonight. Tom, what did you think of the trailer? It was good. So,
was that the actual pistol round?
I don't know. Can we get some help and advice? Was that the action?
I don't know what he said.
Good.
Something changes. That didn't really give me very much.
One more time, voice in this guy. Okay.
Game's ready. Okay.
Here we go. Right, we've been told now the game is ready.
Okay, that was the
pistol round. So there we go. We got a great insight as to how that all went down. And now Mouse. What they've done is stick 3 players inside the A bomb site. Envy. Playing around in mid, but they have to be careful because Chris J's been allowed to work his way down through Banana. Smoke's been thrown aggressive as he holds this off from Logs. They're going to go pushing down by him, and he now emerges from the woodwork. RPK going to be quick on the trade. They continue pushing up. Already bypassed that Smoke is RPK, but he's been chipped away. That's the man advantage in favor of Mouse.
T-slide. Slide? Yeah, oh, a T-slide. T-side going to be slowly making their way back towards the A side. It is a 2-2 split at the moment and complete banana control. And I'm quite surprised we haven't actually seen a rotation back from the players on B. Just one of the players falling back just because of Sunny's position so aggressive on banana. But clearly feeling confident about the defense here, and it is just going to be down to Rops. Misses the first couple of shots, but will be able to capitalize onto the second. Finds another. The bomb, however, will be going down for Envy, so that will be a little bit of extra money. However, the rotation from his teammates is going to be very quick indeed. XMS, the only one left on the site, and he will fall as well. So a bomb plant for EnVyUs will make them a little bit of extra money, not anything too crazy, and we will have the pickup of all the remaining rifles just to make sure that they don't lose too much going into round number 3.
Bomb has been defused. Counter-terrorists win.
So rebuying down on the players that need to for Mouse. Christian going to be picking himself up a UMP there. Envy have some pistols to try and play with into this round. Deagle up on screen. Flash for RPK. Already looking down mid. Scream's trying to open up and Oscar doesn't want to go ahead and catch a stray bullet. So he does make the decision to retreat on back. Sunny in the meantime, along with Chris J, once again going to try and take control of banana. The smoke goes down aggressive and allows them to do so. And Envy going to try and make their way up mid in response to this. The smoke is down. Sticko's on the other side of it. The nade, gets caught. RPK gets annihilated. Everyone's tagged so low, and Sticko should take up basketball at this point because that was fantastic from him. Just lunges the nade down range. Couldn't have asked for a better start here for Mouse in this round.
Probably doesn't even know how much damage he's actually done with that. Around the sort of 200 marker, which is absolutely ridiculous. Now Chris J can just reap the rewards, and eventually it will be Sunny to close the round. 3-0. T-side will now be buying back in. The extra bomb plant's going to give them a decent amount of utility. In fact, basically full. The only player which may be a bit more into question will be if Sixer goes for the AWP. Would have had to be glass cannon, so he's not going to do it. And over on that CT side, rifles across the board, other than, of course, Oscar, who has the scout. But they can comfortably buy into the next round anyway, so not going to be too much of a problem for Mousesports going forward. And a very nice start on Inferno. Of course, this is the map where we look to Envy to take things at the beginning of this series. Otherwise, they're going to go into train and they'll be struggling. And Oscar, already with a very aggressive push into middle, will start things off with Scream's head gone.
Going to push out, will get tagged though by Oscar and doesn't land anything onto him. Only being 4 HP would have gone down there. So Happy won't be over the moon with how that came out. Right now, Envy, they've kind of grind to a halt on this T side. Haven't been able to find anything out this rifle round. Not panning out the way that they'd hoped. So they get relegated now down through mid up to Banana. Look to try and seize control of the B-bomb site. Lying in wait, Sunny and Chris J. They're the two to try and keep the tide of Envy at bay as the smokes and flashes rain in. The push going to come on through. Chris J opens up. Six are going to be hot on their heels with the trade as he drops both the B players. We'll go into a 3-on-3. Sticko, first man on the scene, the first responder to this. Going to try and retake the man advantage here for Mouse, but Sixer on in with a tear. 3 frags for him. Oscar and Rops, 104 HP between them. 4 HP being on Oscar.
Yeah.
Does mean they're going to be forced to save in this scenario. They're locked out of the site. And Envy, they're going to get themselves their first round here. The rifle round secured. But there's still money for Mouse to buy up in the next round.
Yeah, the extra rifle save basically will just be dropped over, probably to Chris. And then Oscar is going to pick up that AWP. And that will completely change the dynamic of this Mousesports side. I'm hoping we'll see a couple of rounds where he'll be the sort of sole B defender. I think that could be absolutely wonderful within this team. Because a lot of the time we see that now as one of the main sort of strategies. One man on Banana. We've seen it in the past with players such as like Skadoodle, where it's just like he's set up like a turret. You sort of whisper in his ear, kill everyone. And then the rest of the players can just sort of go and stack that A site. At least for now, it is just going to be a couple of rifles over towards the B site. So it's more of a dynamic thing that you see later on, and Oscar's going straight in for that peek into middle, trying to find the early peek. Wide peek out though, and RPK takes his head clean off. Oscar going to have no impact in this round, and they're just looking to try and capitalize on that. Stiko already going to be going down, leaving it just onto Rops in the pit. He is alone and will be removed as well. Fast round from EnVyUs. They get that early pick and they decide, okay, we're working off this.
That's now a second round for Envy. 2 players surviving once again for Mouse, looking to try and save. And if we can take a look at the economy right now for Mousesports, they keep these 2 alive. They can go for a bind at the next round. Sunny can drop a rifle over. Rops can as well. That'll be 4 players with rifles. Or rather 3. Rops is dead. Christian, they can drop himself UMP over to one of the surviving players as well. Rops can buy up. And they will be allowed to get away with it. Envy going to be in with their second round, though. And right now, domination in towards B in the round previous. And now in this one, the A bomb site also taken with ease.
Yeah, and they don't lose a single player. So for the T-side economy, that is an absolutely magnificent start. We are going to see weapons juggled around. So, yep, pretty much what you said. Just a few weapons drop. They'll have 4 rifles over on that CT side. Oscar is going to be onto a UMP. Of course, taken down within a few seconds of the last round. But now this is the break. This is the chance for EnVyUs to get off to a very strong start, and Sixer hits a double. The banana defense is almost gone. There's only 1 man left in the form of Oscar. They're looking like they're just going to rotate round to that A site, stack it, gamble it. If they push in, okay, we'll fight it back. If not, it's probably just going to be a save, but that couldn't have been a better start to that round. We're talking about the idea that this is the chance for Envy to break back. Well, Sixer, he's had a very strong start to this game, and it only continues.
Yeah, no, EnVyUs, they're in danger of walking into the stack here. The smoke's gone down aggressive on Banana. They don't want to try pushing on through. They're going to boost RPK over the top to scout it out.
Ah, yes, there's smoke.
3 players for Mouse inside the A bomb site. So they leave the stack over here on A in the off chance that Envy head their way, but that doesn't look to be the case. Going to be sending 3 players up Banana. The bomb's starting to rotate in through alt mid as well. Going to rejoin them, and that will be B. Under Envy control the second they peek on in. Going to leave Happy on the lurk over here towards A, and actually they might misread this. Going to start to rotate players around. Going to try and do Happy's bidding here as they look to try and join up with their commander inside the A bomb site, and that might be much to their demise here as they come pushing on in. 3 players lie in wait. Chris J opens up. Scream now has to try and trade. Won't suspect the players in the site, nor the man in pit, and that's Rops to step up with a second. 6 is on 9 HP. Rops comes in with number 3, and now RPK left in a 1v3 that never should have been. Flashes himself through the smoke, gets dropped by Oscar. And that round, that was EnVyUs for the taking. If they just headed in towards B, it would have been theirs. But on the back of the call from Happy to rotate off, it is to their demise. And ultimately, Mousesports, they get themselves a round that they never imagined getting in a million years.
That's all about just finding out information. And I think Envy assumed with the sort of smoke that was thrown down that there's going to be more likely to be a couple of players over towards the B site. It is an easier site to defend with a sort of stack in play. However, Mousesports completely mind-gamed them, and that is a round, as you said, that they never should have had. However, Envy, a flawless round in the last, pretty much guarantees them at least 1 extra buy, and this will be it. They need to make sure that they win this one. RPK going to be pushing through the smoke. There is going to be a player waiting on the other side. 2, in fact, up the top of Banana. Smoke going to go down, but nice entry from RPK. Already 1 man will be down. XMS looking to try and push further up, and Chris Day is gone as well. It's just going to be the players over towards that A site once more. And I think the B defense really is struggling at the moment. That's 2 rounds in a row now where Envy have just been able to find the first 2 picks on 2 players on B. And the A site have just sort of sat there like, well, guess we wait.
And this time, Happy will better lead them into the clutches of Mouse. The bomb is already down over on B. Envy will just look to save. Mouse might get discovered as well. Rops hiding it down over in that graveyard. Could easily be stumbled into by Happy as he lies in wait over in apartments. Has support from Scream and Six, starting to make their way up through mid. They want to try and take some guns at the hand of Mousesports if they can. 3 players surviving allows a buy up into the next round. 2 makes it a little bit less viable. They do manage to keep 3 alive though, and on the back of that, they should go for the force here. You can see that Sticko can throw a Famas over. That's what's going to be on the back of Chris J. Sonny buys himself up a UMP. So everyone has something to try and work with here for Mouse.
See if that will finally have itself a bit more of an impact. Oscar is going to be over towards the B site, but this time it's apps control where EnVy have decided to fight, taking it fairly easily. I'm hoping that on the T side they leave Oscar, but it looks like he's the one more likely to actually rotate away. Chris J is going to go aggressive as they do take banana control, but it's a quick push in already. RPK and Scream, 2 entries done. This time there's 3 players over towards the other side of the map, and Mousesports at the moment, they just can't catch a break. Every time they gamble players, they gamble them wrong. And the entry kills coming out, not only from RPK, but there's always like one other person. RPK will get one, and then somebody else is picking up another. This round it was Scream, and EnVy, again, absolutely flawless. Now this time, Happy's going to be going on the hunt. He may just walk straight into the clutches of Chris J, so that's at least something. Can upgrade to an AK-47. The remaining T players, they're just going to make sure, okay, this round's in the bag, and our economy's still growing.
This is another scenario where Mao's probably going to get, well, they will go for the force buy here, keeping 3 players alive. Money up on Rops allows the buy to come on in. Sticko would be double eco anyway, but the issue is if Mao's getting into a situation where they're saving every single round, and this is very common, especially of Mao's on Inferno, where they'll frequently have three or four players save, and then just get stuck in a scenario where they keep buying up, like scraping together just a terrible buy with no utility, and then they get locked out of a site, won't be able to retake and then just save. And it's why, you know, it's kind of like the meme of the whole save sports idea. It's particularly commonly tossed around on Inferno.
I think the utility idea is definitely an important one as well. This time they do have a decent amount. We already saw in the earlier rounds where they were looking to try and take control of it, deep smoke onto Banana, and then they were able to push players further forward and then gamble more over towards A. However, this time Chris J is going to start things off, but it's only a trade. Sonny with a UMP. He's got a lot of work to do here. Just going to smoke off for now, obviously wanting to try and retrieve that rifle. And will be able to fall back from the site. He's got Sticko to support him. This time more of a 2-2 split. They're not gambling either way. EnVy just once more. They get an early pick. They slow down. A 1-for-1 trade on the T side is absolutely fine. Now they are just going to go running into the site, looking to try and find these picks. There's a man in the corner using a smoke to try and defend him off, but it means they know exactly where he is. Scream will pick up another, and there's only one man left anywhere near the action. It's going to be Sticko. He's got himself that UMP, trying to spray through, but isn't going to find anything.
Oh, this is Mouse once again locked at the site. I think a save is looking pretty tempting at this point. Oscar might be able to turn things around. He's able to find number one. Gonna try and keep pushing in, but smoke rains down to CT. Gonna keep them locked on out for the time being. Gonna try and boost over the top. It's Oscar stuck up there. Happy comes charging in. He's a bit confused, but there we go. 2 for him, and Sticko then falls after. That's another round up for EnVy. And Mouse, they finally have to just take a breath, go for the eco here as EnVy now pull into the lead. Money starting to build up as well for the T side. And Oscar going to be buying up the scout. He had a bit more cash than everyone else. Chris J shouldn't get much here as he's going to be saving to drop the AWP over for Oscar. And it's going to be a nade stack. Let's see if this does anything. The nades have already wreaked havoc in the previous couple of rounds. In they go to mid, but Happy counters it perfectly. Going to reply with 2 as RPK and Scream mop up the remainder. And now Rops over towards Banana, left 1v3. Going to start to peek on out, not into the crosshair of Scream, and there we go. EnVy managed to get themselves a 6th round. But now the buy can come in from Mouse.
Once again, AWP is going to be dropped. Yet to have too much impact, as we said. Rops is currently 10-4, and considering they're losing, that is a bit of a worrying scoreline. He's doing well over towards that A pit when the push has come in, but most of the time, it's actually been the B side where they've really struggled. T side should know that there's a buy coming, and we are going to see a switch up in position from Rops now. A little bit more aggressive, although that is pre-fire angle already. Oscar goes down, Scream again. These entry frags have been absolutely ludicrous from this man, stepping up massive. Rops, Sticko will be able to trade 2 back, and they just double down each. Only 1 man left, and somehow the 2 over on that A site defend it perfectly. I definitely think that the B site is the weaker, and maybe that's where EnVy are going to go straight back to in this round.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, they tried mixing it up, didn't work out for them, and then they're going to go back to the site that's been good to them. AKs across the board, that's really very reminiscent of a faster play, which would make sense up towards B. Gonna send 2 players onto Banana immediately, that's Scream. And RPK. RPK taking the aggression, flashes himself over. Mousesports now with 3 players over at Banana. Happy gonna drop down, looks to now join up the rest of the team. It does look like B gonna be the site in question. Sunny awaits in CT. Chris J's in the site, but both these players have to stay alive for so long. The rotations from A are going to take a very long time to pull through, and already Sunny's been locked out. Does find one with the Molotov. Rushes on in to try and get the trade, which he'll be afforded. Tries to sneak on up, but XMS drops him down, and now we're into the 3-on-3. They're able to keep EnVy at bay for a while. Oscar's the first man on the scene, only just having the rotation coming in from Rops. He's on Speedway, still very far away from the bomb site here. Happy's waiting on Banana. Sticko about to walk out into his crosshair, and oh, Happy finds that frag. Oscar and Rops left 2v3, and they might just elect to save here, unless one of these players finds an equalizer soon. And that save called in. Rops going to start to make his way down through Speedway. Oscar tries to hold off. Oh, it was awkward. Still manages to get the frag. So they do manage to keep 2 players alive. The AWP still up on Oscar. Rops in with the defuse kit and full utility along with the AK. Means we're probably going to see the infamous Mouse continue forcing to run out of money once again.
Yeah, I think the big problem that they're really having at the moment is the fact that even with 2 kills coming in for Sunny, it seems like one of the players on the B site always seems to have no impact. Now, I'm not saying it's always going to be Chris or it's always going to be Sunny, but like Sunny there throws a Molotov down, slows, does a load of damage to the players, and they still trade 2 for 2. And it's just not good enough. They need to be doing more. This time, okay, we've run out of ideas. That's what it seems like, double AWP. Let's try throwing Chris over towards the AWP. Let's have him as more of a catalyst player, a more aggressive player, and try and stop them getting all the way up Banana, which they've already taken. However, CT, or the T side at least, have got XMS on a MAC-10. Not sure if that's based off tactics or just thinking that they're on an eco. Of course, it does mean that he can just go running around the corner. They're going to clear off the boost spot from the previous round where we saw Rops actually manage to pick up a few kills himself. Instead, he's going to be playing on that balcony.
EnVy had pushed all the way up mid, but now they turn their attention instead over here towards Banana. This time there's only Chris J. Sunny is rotating in. Fast as his little legs will carry him, Chris J has to try and lock this down as he gets smoked off, playing it round the pillar. Has the crossfire with Sunny, but one man's been allowed. Cross, Chris J in with a second. XMS and Happy try desperately to pull this back into the realms of possibility for EnVyUs, which they've done a good job at doing. But alone inside of B is XMS. Chris J still waits over at the back of Emo. Has support from Sticko rotating in. Peeks out, gets caught, but Chris J in with 3, make it 4 as Chris J locks down the B-bomb site. 4 frags for him as the AWP does pull through. And that's the change that needed to be made over towards B.
Yeah, great work from Chris. A massive individual play over towards Dark, and oh, he completely holds down that site alone. If he goes down, we're straight back into a 2 versus 2, and I dare say I think EnVy would probably take that over the line. Instead, they're now the ones suffering in terms of money. They've got 3 rifles, they've got a lot of utility, they've got a couple of CZs. Now, over on RPK, at least throughout the day from what I've seen, that hasn't been too much of a detriment. Scream is now looking to try and do things once again. He has been superb at finding those entry kills so far, and clearly they're still feeling like this B site is the favorite of the two, as nearly every single one, in fact, every single one of this MV team, including Happy, are going to be pushing into the site. It's going to be Chris J around the smoke. Doesn't have the AWP this time. He chucks it over to Oscar instead, and it will be his demise. And Sonny's going to go down as well. A 2-for-2 trade. The spray away. Oscar will survive at least a little bit longer. But it's still going to be the 3v3, and the bomb is going to be going down.
Already, everyone here from Mouse to try and come in for this retake. They have to watch out because Six has taken some aggression here. Oscar tries to spot for it, but it's going to look away just at the wrong time. They might try boosting on up over the top of that smoke, but the flash grabs their attention. Envy doing a fantastic job of keeping Mouse occupied. The peek comes in from Oscar, but Six are unhappy between them. Drop 2, Sixer finishes things off, and somehow, in a round where Envy had to scrape the bottom of the barrel to get a bye together, they managed to pick it up 8-6. As Six are unhappy, clutch that out, 2 versus 3. They managed to get an 8 for Envy and reset the economy of Mouse into the last round of the half.
I do love the idea that it seems like on Inferno, at least, whatever the scenario, Chris J's still giving the AWP over to Oscar. He gets 4 kills in the previous round, and the same strategy comes in. This time it's going to be aggression from the CT side, running straight down. Stiga will be able to get 1. It is going to be a quick trade, still looking to try and push further and further. Sixer just waiting around in the smoke, already gets himself a second. He has had a good performance in this half, and while the half will end with a 9-6 scoreline in favor of EnVyUs. A reasonable start for Mousesports, but in the end it will be Envy to take the half.
Yeah, dominant performance from them on their T side. Now switching things up into that CT side. Can they keep it together? They have themselves a 3-round lead. One thing at least for Mouse to note, RPK, nice shot. But yeah, one thing at least to note for Mouse is that they don't have to worry about that just terrible B-bomb site hold. And I mean, they also Chris J was doing a fantastic job when he had the AWP, but they are quite set in their ways with making sure that Oscar's the one to have it. And the double AWP on Inferno is incredibly strong on that CT side. We see it actually brought out more and more now. As you have the AWP over towards A, you normally have one holding banana aggressive. You can get that smoke down. We saw Chris J trying to do that with the UMP earlier on. So if they had been able to get onto an AWP a little bit earlier, then we could have seen that pull through. But instead, he only got it once. And that's largely, I think, due to that weakened economy, that kind of save sports idea that I was going on about, where they like to save and then they force buy around it just time and time again. But it leads them sometimes to be in a far worse situation than what just an eco could have done. Now they're on the T side. Will they be able to pick things up? If they win the pistol, this can go 9-9. But Envy off with an unusual start. They stack 4 players over here towards B and just rush down Banana.
Yeah, they're going to take the attention away as well with Happy, but Stigan in a decent position will be able to find one. They know where he is. It's going to be the battle between Scream and Oscar, and Scream will eventually win it. Push could be coming in over towards that A side, but Happy actually drops the bomb before it's able to get out of apps. That's going to completely ruin the chance. It's down to just Rops. He may be able to get a plant. There isn't anybody on this site. He's just going to throw the smoke over and try and make sure they at least get themselves some money, which he will do. But now he has to try and fight back versus 4. Surely the youngster won't be able to do anything here in RPK. Well, the old dog versus the young boy. The old dog's still got new tricks. It will be 10-6 in favor of EnVyUs. And yeah, like you said, an unusual pistol round, but I'm actually quite happy to see stuff like that. Just throw in a little bit of innovation. You're not going to be expecting that from Mousesports. I can see why they did it as well, because a lot of the time you'll send most of your players over towards B. Like, you see most pistol rounds from the T side just rushing towards that B site, trying to catch them off guard. So they expected that. It didn't happen, but they still took the fight anyway. Now, at least, though, things have got a little bit more interesting, as Mousesports are forced, and their buy actually doesn't look that much worse than what we see on the EnVyUs side.
An 8 stack down Banana amid doesn't find any damage early on as Mousesports do wait for it. Oscar, he's the man starting to push up through Banana with the D, the spearhead. In this site take, and actually going to turn his attention away as he lines up the smoke. Now, I'm going to see that Robs gets spotted over a middle, but it doesn't lead to anything just yet. And we have 2 players over in apartments in the form of Happy and RPK, and Happy might opt to go aggressive here. If he does, he gets so much information from this. Going to start to eliminate possibilities. The rotations can come through now as they secure the fact that it is in middle. And if it is, Happy's there to deal with it. Has support from RPK. Right now, Mouse, they've been forced to push towards the B-bombs. Like stuck between a rock and a hard place. And Scream barreling on in, able to pick one more up. Chris J left 1v3. Does manage to take the first, but that should be it for him. As the trade does prevail, EnVy going to grab themselves an 11th round.
Yeah, again, they make it work with the SMGs, and once more, with that sort of earlier force by using the pistols, Mousesports are now going to have to save instead. They could have had AKs going into this round, but it isn't going to be the case for them. Scream will pick up one more rifle. This is normally the way that they do it. However, they have actually bought up a couple more SMGs just to continue this sort of money farming expedition. Already, we can see a little bit of a fight into middle. T's just waiting with the bomb. Happy already very aggressive. Of course, wants to get as close as possible with this SMG, make himself some extra money, and that's not a bad start. Already taking down Sunny.
XMS looking to make some free cash. I think he gets one. 6 is going to be there to trade. But that will be at EnVy. They go ahead and grab themselves the pistol, and then the 2 consecutive anti-ecos as well. They built up some economy. You look at Sixer, he's got $6,000. Can invest in the AWP here. Probably going to throw the UMP over to XMS. Pick one up, while the rest of the team go for a free round here. XMS actually going to stick with just a P250.
Ew, what?
They're going to try and play the bonus round game. Mousesports of AKs across the board. A little bit limited in terms of utility, though. Chris J, the only man with a full utility belt. And EnVy, they've stacked A. 5 players here.
This is weird. I kind of like it, but it's an odd scenario where they're basically almost playing to try and just bounce back in the next. And Rob, Small, and Sunny don't really like that idea. They've already sprayed down 2. XMS, even just with a pistol, gets 2 kills, which is slightly mental. There is a rifle on the floor. He's decided he's going with the MP9 instead and still picks up another kill. So they're still making this very costly, and they know, as said, that they're going to be buying back in the next round anyway. AK picked up for XMS. He doesn't really need to challenge this, but if we look at the money on the board, do they have enough that they don't really need this extra rifle? I think it might be better if he saves it, in all honesty. They could still get away with it, and by the looks of it, XMS is just going to hold on to the rifle. So yeah, they actually play for the reset.
That's actually very smart, because when you look at it now, Mousesports are going to have no money heading into this next round. XMS saves the AK.
It's very smart if they win.
That is true. Very reliant on that fact. But regardless, they've kept the economy of Mouse so incredibly modest as a result of this. There can't be any AWPs in the next round. If Mousesports lose the next round, then EnVy, I mean, that's essentially a 14-7 scoreline secured. So this round is worth its weight in gold from EnVy, and this is exactly how they position themselves. Sometimes economy just kind of ends up stacked in one team's favor, not through like active decision makers, it's just because it's how the rounds have gone. But EnVy had full control over how this has ended up. This is exactly the scenario they wanted to be in. Damage done to the Mousesports economy. And plenty left in their own. The AWP up on 6 and no such likeness over on the side of Mousesports. It's going to be 6 holding mid. Trying to spot past that smoke. Doesn't manage to see anything just yet. So now he holds second mid. Waits to see. Sunny might be coming his way. So they're going to be heading up into apartments.
Lots of utility expended to try and take back control of this banana. They've got to be careful because Chris J is going to be pushing forward, but he's taken so much damage from the Molotov, and now XMS breakthrough finds Oscar as well. Already a 2-man advantage, and nothing really lost in return. XMS, well, a little bit of HP, but I don't think he's going to mind that trade whatsoever. Now already we see the rotation coming out from the T side. They've been slaughtered on banana. And this is the setup I wanted to see Oscar have. Have him as the catalyst AWP over towards banana, and then have 4 players on A. It's exactly what EnVy have done. And, well, all they really need to do here is trade. They don't even need to sort of trade 1 for 1. They've pretty much done it here. 4 versus 3 on the site itself. And it's going to have to be something absolutely incredible. If they switch back, maybe there's a chance, but they've still got to deal with the AWP of Sixer.
There goes the first man out over here towards short. Sunny does reside at long, but he's got Scream and XMS to try and get past first. Sneaking on up. They've already lost Sunny. That's one of the prongs to this two-pronged approach. Eliminated from the equation. Now Sticko and Rops have to step up massively. Flanking round from behind is going to be XMS. They have to worry about him as well. Sticko finds the first, but now XMS comes pouncing out from the woodwork. A 3K for the man in question. Scream with 2. And Envy, they've reset the economy of Mouse. The calculated reset pans out. And they're now going to reap the benefits of that. Envy should be able to secure themselves a 14th here and now.
Well, that is what you call proper CT side rotations. Like, they get the first couple of kills. They then set Sixer up, ready on the site. If he spots anything, even if he doesn't get the kill, they would have rotated somebody back very quickly indeed. And then over on the opposite side, we didn't really see that at all. Like, if you notice when Mousesports were playing, it was either they would gamble a player over every once in a while, but their rotations weren't really a thing. They didn't have anybody playing around that sort of speed.
That's why they save so much.
Yeah.
Even when you look at how they're playing it, their A site featured having a player on the site, you know, by default, a man over towards Boiler, sometimes up in apartments, and then someone playing it from pit or up on the balcony. Everything was the furthest possible away it could be from a rotation to the B bomb site, which meant that therefore the second that, you know, Envy would just waltz into B, Mouse, it would take too long. It was just impossible to actually get the players in there. So as the unpause gets called on in, Mouse, they force sport down what they can to try and throw a spanner in the works. The only issue is if they lose this now, Envy will be 14-7. Mouse will then have to force by every round until the end of this game.
This is a massive risk, but with the potential to get them back into the game. Waiting on the edge of the smoke. There's actually already 2 players over towards this short position. It may not be expected, but they may not even need to, because RPK has just sprayed down 3 players. They've got Sixer to support him as well. And Rops, he may get 1, but well, he is literally 1 and done. 14-7. Envy looking absolutely dominant. And now, well, the T side, they either have the choice to force it, risk it, or they're just going to play for OT.
I mean, I'm a firm believer you should never introduce risk where you don't need to. So, Mouse, they've gone and grabbed the Deagle for Oscar. 2 players of P250s. They're going to try play for the overtime here. And Envy already aggression up through mid. Happy, he's all the way in the back line. Sixer's there, nearly the triple collateral, but not quite. Instead, he mops it up with the Tech 9. And Sixer's looking fantastic. Envy going to reach map point, 15-7 here. A dominant CT side from beginning to end. And now, their chance to close this out here and now. Their economy is booming. And when we look over at Mouse, it's bottomed out in its entirety. They've invested everything into this round, which means even if they win, it has to be a decisive win here. They have to keep 4 players alive if they want to see anything from it.
Banana control seems to be the name of the game. We've got Scream and XMS to deal with, which they haven't been able to do so far. Rop's going to go for the pre-fire as he enters the apartments, but nobody there just yet. In fact, RPK looking ready to go in himself and takes the kill as well, out-aiming the youngster. It has been like that all the way through this CT side so far, and he's going to go peeking back in. Almost takes down Sunny. RPK just in full tank mode at the moment. Nobody can deal with him. The remaining 2 players, or 3 players, sorry, were waiting for that fake to come in, possibly a wraparound. It's not going to be happening. XMS shuts down the first, second, sprays wild for the third, but Scream will end it. Map number 1 goes firmly into the way of EnVyUs. And now we head off to Train.
Yeah, you know, that's going to be the map pick of Mouse coming up, you know, in just a little bit. But let's just quickly reminisce about what we saw there from Envy. I think, you know, that was some of the most kind of calculated CT side play I think I've seen from EnVyUs in a very long time. Their decisions with the economy, I think, were fantastic. And I don't want to say an innovation, but, like, you know, it was quite a good strategy to run. Something I haven't really seen any other IGL opt to do, right? Try and go for something such as that, where your goal is to just kind of do damage with what you've got. And yeah,
if you win it, great. If you don't, you're still buying.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like the premise of the bonus round. But they had a more clear goal, I feel like. It wasn't, you know, they stacked everyone on A, being one of the main differences there. Yeah. But yeah, no, that was fantastic. And then they win it out in a very, very dominant fashion. Their CT side still looked flawless. And
you could see a definite difference. Like it wasn't like you were just watching like 2 similar teams where you're like, oh look, they're pulling rotations here. Mousesports, I think it is the case with a lot of their maps. They're very static. A lot of their positions are like, this is my spot, I am staying here. And the only other thing they would do is every once at the beginning of the round, they might go, Oscar, do you want to go B? Just in case they push B. And that was it. That was the only real changes we made. Okay, Rops had that one round where he was boosted up, but you see the next round straight away, Happy shooting through the wall. He's ready. He's trying to pre-fire all of these different angles. And in the actual sort of take, say somebody came pushing into the site, it was like, okay, they're pushing B. Sonny and Chris Day, if you don't kill everyone, we're just going to save. We're not even really rotating it. Like Oscar might sort of take a peek from CT with the AWP, but that was it, and that's far too slow. Then on the other side of things, you see 2 entry kills come in for Envy. They instantly rotate everybody off except one player, which is Sixer. They go, Sixer, you're holding this. We're stacking A. And it was just, it was so calculated. They knew what they were doing. They had their setup, and it was really enjoyable to watch.
Well, that was map 1 out the way. It went in the way of Envy, 16-7. Their map pick. Next up is Train. Of course, there's still potentially 2 more maps yet to come. The winner will secure their spot at IEM Oakland 2017. So join us for map number 2, Train, after the break.